Hi, hello, and welcome. Today I have a campfire talk for you guys. And this really came to me whenever I stopped editing the Chrono Odyssey video that I put out before the class video. And you might be wondering, why did pay to win come to mind whenever I got done with editing the Chrono Odyssey video? And that's because I went on to the Chrono Odyssey subreddit, and there was a post that was being spread around there. And mind you, a lot of the NDA testers have said that a lot of the details on this Reddit post have been is false or is not true or is rumored at best. So I just want to say this does not mean the game is actually like this or not. I'm just saying I looked at this subreddit post and it just made me curious. I really wanted to do a video about it because it is something very important in today's gaming space. And that is pay to win good? Or where do we draw the line with pay-to-win mechanics in MMORPGs or just in games in general? And I really want to preface this by saying pay-to-win is one of the most talked about things in the video game community, in most, especially in the MMORPG community, because it's so prevalent right now. And one of the reasons why it's talked about so much is because no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, there seems to be tons of different lines in the sand. Like, one person might believe a booster that gives you more crafting materials for, X amount of hours is hyper pay to win, while another person is completely fine with people being able to pay for gear or pay for increases in their gear stats as long as they can earn it by just farming and they don't actually have to pay for it. I think that is why it's such an interesting topic on a campfire talk video on my channel. Because I've seen so many different types of people, I start to wonder, why are there so many different types of takes on pay to win? You would think it'd be one of those things where it's like, oh, if it's pay to win, it's automatically bad. Or if it's not pay to win, it's automatically good. But that's not always the case. And in many cases, the lines are so blurred now that a lot of gamers are okay with a lot of pay to win things that we weren't okay with, 5 years ago. And a good example of that is like a game, let's just say Black Desert Online or Lostark. These games have very diehard communities that love the games. And a lot of times you'll hear them say like, oh, it's not that pay to win, or oh, it's only pay to progress a little bit, or oh, it's pay to skip the grind. There's tons of different versions of this that they talk about. And my main question to them is, why is it okay to pay money in a video game on a store that allows you to skip content? Is it because you do not have time to do said thing, so you're okay paying for it? Or is it because you can technically get there by just grinding, even though most of these people that play these games, they'll talk about how is it pay to win? It's just pay to skip the grind or something, and yet, have you noticed most of the time they are always the ones paying for it? The answer I'm getting to is that there's so many type of MMORPGs out there, and it's like, let's say Black Desert Online is your favorite, then you're very much okay with a certain level of pay to win, while people who play, I don't know, a buy to play game like Guild Wars 2 is not okay with it at all. If anything, Guild Wars 2 is probably still to this day the best monetization system of any MMORPG. It reflects in that community where there's tons of age groups, and people who play that game love it. Like, they don't treat it like a second life in the way a Black Desert player does, but they love it and they care deeply about the community, and it reflects in that game where when you play it and people are extremely nice to you, they're friendly, they invite you to guilds, while a game like Black Desert Online, or a better example, Lost Ark, which is super gatekeeping, and if you do not have the exact gear score that they want out of you, well, guess what? Too bad, you cannot raid with them that day. I think it's really a reflection of what these communities are allowing these game companies to get away with. And I think a lot of us, including myself, can remember a day where, like, even battle passes were not a thing. You didn't have this FOMO in video games where it's like, oh, you have to log on every day, do these quests, do these dailies, do these missions for a battle pass to get rewards because you paid for it already. And thankfully, we're seeing a couple of games now come out, like Marvel Rivals, Helldivers 2, Smite 2. A lot of these games have this really awesome battle pass now that is not FOMO. You pay for it and you'll have it forever. You just earn as you go, and I think that's lovely. I think some game companies are gonna start doing that way more, which I'm very thankful for because I think many of us dislike battle passes because of just the FOMO. We don't care. We don't mind buying them. They have usually cool cosmetics. They give you a lot of free stuff, but this fear of missing out is what drives these players to start pay to winning in the first place. If you look at lostark, like I was using them as an example earlier, a new tier raid comes out. What are the top raid players gonna do? They're not gonna grind for hundreds of hours, even more so, to get a couple of extra armor percentage or battle score increases. Whenever each of these games have a different one. They're not going to grind for hundreds of hours. No, they're going to swipe because they want to get in on the raid as soon as possible. Their guilds are telling them like, hey, we're raiding this day. If you're not ready, you're not playing. And that's why how these game companies keep getting away with it. And even though it's not an MMORPG, it's technically MMO, but it's not MMORPG. You look at gacha games like Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin Impact. These games thrive off of people buying characters, using hundreds of dollars to try and get these characters when they first drop, so they can have them, because usually they're OP and they do the new content. It's super easy. And so why wouldn't you want to pay money to get these characters fast? Even if you have roles saved up, you probably won't get them. Percentages are against you, and now even with gacha games implementing features where after so many rolls you're guaranteed something good or something halfway decent, that's still not good enough, because those game companies are getting encouraged by these people paying money out the ass just to get these characters, just so they can pass content very easily without grinding. I think one of the issues with this community and MMORPGs and other game communities is that streamers are not holding themselves reliable to creating this culture of, I gotta be number one, I gotta make the best content, I gotta get there for my content first overall. And so they'll pay money, they'll instead of grinding, they'll try to get as many resources as possible so they can create new content for their viewers, even if it costs them more money and it's not really the game they're playing. And we saw this most in a game that I didn't play, which is Throne and Liberty. I remember when that game came out, and I love watching streamers on my second monitor when I play games or when I'm like raiding or doing anything like that. And I remember watching some of the biggest names on Twitch drop into Throne and Liberty, play until they get to a about end game, and the moment they hit any plateau where they need to farm and save up resources or upgrade gear, they would instantly put their card and just swipe to get the best gear off the market. And then guess what? After a week or two, they quit the game because A, there's no need to play the game anymore if you've already swiped for the best gear in slot. 2, it gets boring because guess what? You're not doing anything besides playing PvP and maybe getting a couple stat boosts here and there out of the gear you're getting from PvPing. And then 3, a game that is not rewarding to you, a game that you do not grind yourself and get there via your own mental abilities, your physical abilities, a game that you do not get there yourself, it's boring and it feels lifeless. If you go to a game like Final Fantasy XIV, after you do all the story content, and it's a wonderful story, one of the best in MMORPG history, but once you get to the end, you feel relieved. You know you finally got there. You can raid fully now, and yeah, like you can do some raids up until that point, but really, at the end of that story is where the game really starts. And you can get every class max level, you can change professions, and all of that. And I think that's way more rewarding than just swiping. And some people might say like, oh, pay to win is here to stay, which I think honestly they're right. Sadly, they are. Even if it's just minor pay to win features, I think it will forever stay in MMORPGs. But at this point, we must decide, where is the line? Is the line over here? Is the line over here? And what I mean by that is that us as a community, we love MMORPGs. We love these games for the amount of playtime they have, the exploration, the adventure, the combat, the PvP, the raiding, the guild systems. We as a community have to say, this is not right. What they're doing to our gaming sphere, our gaming little bubble we have, is not right. And let's say, like I mentioned earlier, this all started from me talking about Chrono Odyssey. If Chrono Odyssey comes out and is pay to win heavily, for instance, like the Black Desert system, where every time you increase or craft a weapon and upgrade it, there's a chance of it failing and dropping back down a tier. Completely dead game besides maybe 20,000 players, because let's be real honest with here. Lost Ark and Black Desert Online is still going on because there's a subgroup of players who just love those games for their combat, for their story, and I completely understand that. But they're the ones that keep paying money to keep doing these raids and keep getting higher gear scores. And I really hope Chrono Odyssey is just a true buy to play game with buyable expansions as they come out. I really do. I don't care if Chrono Odyssey has battle passes. I don't care if it has skins. And I don't care if it has boosters. I personally don't think boosters are pay to win. I think it's just like one of those things where it's like, 20-30%, it's not going to hurt me. I mean, I don't care if someone pays for that. But these new MMORPGs have to stop somewhere. We need to get to a point where we as a community stop playing these dog shit games that promote just spending money just to save time. Like, yes, we all have jobs. Yes, we all have to go to work. We all have to go to school. We all have problems in our lives. But a MMORPG should be a place where you can escape to with your friends, with your guild. You should be able to play whenever you want to and progress as you want it. And this model is very similar to Guild Wars 2. It's horizontal. Once you get the gear, you have it. You're not gonna get outclassed the next expansion, so there's no rush to do things. I think that's truly beautiful, and I think a company can make hella money off that system. Like, for reference, Guild Wars 2 is free to play, and then you have to buy the expansions, and then you have them forever. There's no subscription, and the in-game shop is mostly just cosmetics and things like that, like backspace and whatnot. And mind you, some people think that having, paying for backspace is kind of pay to win, which, understandable. But I think for how good the game is and how good a community is, I think it's okay for those types of things to be in that game because there's nothing else that's pay to win. Or honestly, I would say Guild Wars 2 is probably the least pay to win game on the market besides Final Fantasy 14. But even Final Fantasy 14 has jump leveling progression, and you might say like, oh, but they're missing the story. It's not really that pay to win because they're missing a huge part of the game, which in my opinion, after playing the FF14 story, that's true. But let's be real honest. If me and my friend both start playing Final Fantasy 14 or any game with this type of system, we both start at the same time, and I progress through it naturally while he pays money. WoW does it, Final Fantasy does it, like almost every MMO I play has some kind of system like this. But let's say that my friend jumps to max level and starts raiding immediately and starts doing things with his classes, leveling up other professions, whatever. Immediately, that's still pay to win because we both start at the exact same time, and now he's already doing a lot more of the actual in-game content that I have to, go through weeks and months of story just to get to that point. And you might be like, oh, that's okay with me because they're missing on the story, they're missing on that content, which is okay for you, but that's the line in the sand that you're promoting. You're saying, oh, it's okay for these companies to charge for you to get to max level instantly, while I'm still back here farming and leveling, after, a month of doing it, I finally can catch up to them. Like, that's not fair. And that's not okay. I'm completely fine with shops and games. I'm completely fine with cosmetics and the mounts and all of that. But there comes a point in time where pay to win, like Lost Ark, like BDO, and like almost every MMORPG out there, just needs to stop. And us as gamers need to stop it as well. We need to stop giving them our money. We need to stop giving them our wallets. I mean, I know people who spend hundreds of dollars each month on their favorite MMORPG, which is just wrong. nothing is worth that, even if it's hobby, even if you love the game. Take a step back from the computer and realize how much money you're spending on that game and how much fun it's actually bringing you. Are you having fun because the game itself is fun, because the grind is fun, because you're going around in a circle hoping for 1 or 2 extra gear score? Or are you just having fun because it's like, oh, I just bought my way to this level, I can do a couple things with my friends, and then time to do it all over again? Ask yourself that, and these campfire discussions are supposed to be for this, where I ask my audience and you talk to me back about your opinions on these subjects and what you would like to see out of the future of the MMORPG community. And for me, I hope we can get to a world where pay to win is very minimum. I'm talking about, like, you know, mobile games will always exist, and like those predatory systems like FOMO sadly will probably always exist, even if some companies are changing the systems around. FOMO and things like that will always exist, but at least doing dailies and getting the gear and the content yourself is way more rewarding than just paying for it. And I really hope to hear your opinions on this. Do you agree? Like, do you agree with me? Or do you have a different line in the sand? Like, do you think differently? Tell me, talk to me, dislike the video, and comment telling me what you believe in, because I'm really curious to see what our community thinks about pay to win in our games.